A love written between heartbeats the first time Arev saw Mira. It was raining. Not the dramatic kind of rain that floods streets and bends trees, but a quiet, gentle drizzle that blurred the world just enough to make it feel softer. He was standing at a bus stop near the old bookstore, checking his phone impatiently, when he noticed her struggling with an umbrella that refused to open. She laughed an unguarded, natural laugh, and something in that sound made Arev look up. Mira was wearing a simple blue dress, her hair loosely tied, strands escaping and sticking to her face because of the rain. She didn't look like someone trying to impress the world. She looked real, and somehow that was beautiful. Without thinking, Arev stepped forward. "Need help?" he asked. She looked at him for a moment, surprised, then nodded. "I think this umbrella hates me," he smiled as he fixed it. Their fingers brushed accidentally, and for reasons he couldn't explain, his heart skipped. "Thank you," she said softly. They stood there in silence, rain falling around them, two strangers sharing a small moment that felt strangely important. When her bus arrived, she waved goodbye, leaving Arev with a feeling he hadn't felt in years, a quiet curiosity. He didn't know it then, but that rain-soaked afternoon would change his life. They met again 2 weeks later. Arev had made the bookstore his regular stop, partly because he loved books and partly because he hoped, without admitting it, that he might see her again. When he spotted Mira sitting by the window with a novel in her hand, his heart raced like a foolish teenager's. "Umbrella trouble again?" he teased. She looked up and smiled, recognition lighting her eyes. "Only when it rains." They talked for hours that day, about books, dreams, childhood memories, and the strange ways life connects people. Mira told him she wanted to become a writer, someone who could turn emotions into words. Arev spoke about his job as an architect and how he secretly loved poetry more than blueprints. Time moved differently when they were together. Soon, coffee turned into long walks. Walks turned into late-night calls, and silence between them became comfortable, not awkward. Arev noticed how Mira listened, not just to his words but to his pauses. Mira noticed how Arev remembered the smallest details, like how she preferred her tea or the way she smiled when she was nervous. Slowly, unknowingly, love was growing. But love rarely comes without fear. Mira had learned long ago not to trust happiness too easily. Her past was full of promises that were broken and people who left when things became difficult. She loved Arev, but she was afraid of depending on him. Arev, on the other hand, had always been the one who stayed strong for others. Loving Mira made him vulnerable, and vulnerability scared him. Neither of them said the word love, but it lived in every glance, every unsent message, every heartbeat that quickened when the other was near. Until one evening, everything changed. They were sitting on the rooftop of Arev's apartment, watching the city lights. Mira was unusually quiet. "Arev," she said finally, "do you ever think about leaving?" He frowned. "Leaving what? People, places." Feelings, he looked at her, sensing something deeper beneath her words. "Why are you asking this?" She took a deep breath. "I got an offer, a writing fellowship in another country." For 2 years, the world felt suddenly too quiet. "That's amazing," he said, forcing a smile. "You deserve it, but it means leaving," she whispered. "Leaving you?" Silence fell between them, heavy and painful. "I don't want to be the reason you stay," Arev said after a moment. "Your dreams matter." "And you do?" she asked, her eyes shining with unshed tears. He didn't answer because the truth scared him. He mattered too much. They drifted apart after that night, not because they wanted to, but because neither knew how to hold on without breaking the other. Mira left. Arev stayed. Days turned into months. Arev poured himself into work, but every design reminded him of her. Every rain reminded him of the umbrella. Every quiet moment felt empty. Mira wrote stories in a foreign land, but every love story had Arev hidden between the lines. Success came, but it felt incomplete. They both learned something important during their time apart. Love doesn't disappear just because distance exists. It waits. It aches. It grows stronger. 2 years later, on a rainy afternoon, Arev stood at the same bus stop near the old bookstore. He wasn't sure why he was there. Maybe habit, maybe hope. "Looks like the rain still hasn't learned to stop," a familiar voice said. He turned around. Mira stood there, umbrella in hand, eyes full of emotions. "You came back," he whispered. She nodded. "I realized something. What? That some stories are worth finishing. He stepped closer, heart pounding. And what about us? She smiled through tears. I never stopped loving you, neither did he. As rain fell once more, Arev held her hand. Not as strangers this time, but as two souls who had found their way back to each other.